Good morning, everyone. It's Lynn Dunn from Stamptastic Designs. Thanks so much for joining me today. So today I am going to continue featuring the stamp kissing technique and products from the Masterfully Made suite from Stampin' Up. So the cards I have to share today are just kind of a little twist on the stamp kissing technique. So if you haven't seen the technique, then I did link to it in the description with this video, so you'll be able to kind of see the original version of the technique, and then you'll be able to see today kind of a twist on that technique. So good morning, everybody. So these are the cards that I'm going to share with you today. I'm going to just kind of walk you through how to use the stamp kissing technique with other images. So I shared on Wednesday how to use it with like a large background stamp, which is this image right here. I showed how to use it with the timeless tiles stamp set. And now I'm going to show you how to use it with smaller images and how to use it with two different inks. So good morning, everybody. Good morning. So this is the stamp set that I'll be using. It's called Gorgeously Made, and I'll be using a variety of images in here today to do this stamp kissing technique. And well, it also comes with a die set. So if you decide to get it in a bundle, you get the stamps and then you get some fun little dies that you can use in your card making. So I'm going to take some of these images out of here because we're going to use a couple of them for this technique. And then I'm also using some of the Masterfully Made Designer Series paper. So that's the paper that I just kind of used to decorate up the cards. It's part of the Masterfully Made Suite. Let's get this out of the way here. And I'm just going to set up my stamps right away. And then I'll show you this technique. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, so these are the cards here. And I'm going to show you how to use two different inks to do this stamp kissing technique. So that's what I have on this particular card. You can see I have a little bit of design on this leaf image. And the same thing here. I have a little bit of design on this one. So I'm going to show you how I did that. And then these cards are just cards that I created with the stamp kissing technique using that timeless tiles image. So if you haven't seen Wednesday's video, like I said, I did link to it in the description with this video. So I'm going to put these to the side here. And we are going to start with, let's start with this one. Just going to flatten out my card base. So I'm starting with just a piece of white cardstock for the base of the card. And this is the card that I'm going to show you how to make. So we're going to use this large leaf image that is in the Gorgeously Made, say that 10 times fast, stamp set. And then we're going to also use this image, which is in the set. And this is the image that we're going to kiss onto this one. So I'm going to be using fresh freesia for stamping the leaves. And then we're going to pull in some pretty peacock to do the stamp kissing. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move this out of the way so I don't get it all full of ink. First thing I'm going to do is just ink up this image. So I recommend with this technique, I kind of practiced with it a little bit over the weekend. And I recommend using a lighter color ink, like this light purple, for like this image. And then the one that we're going to kiss to it, we're going to use a little darker ink. So we're going to use the Pretty Peacock. So I'm going to add, I'm going to just ink this up, and I'm going to kiss these two together. So I'm just going to lightly tap and add this design to this image. And then hopefully I'll be able to stamp it like I want to. So then we'll just stamp it right onto our cardstock. And then it gives you the two different designs together. So do you see I have the purple in the background? And then I used that pretty peacock to add, some different design to this leaf instead of just stamping the leaf in one color. So it's just kind of a fun way to use the stamp kissing technique. All right, so I am going to finish this card up. I'm going to stamp this particular image. We're going to actually use this image for the next card too, to do our stamp kissing. So I'm going to add this probably right about here. And that's just pretty peacock. Let me bring back the original card so you can see what it looks like. And then I'm just going to add a variety of different pieces. I actually came up with these card designs because I had a bunch of scraps laying around. So I'm going to add those, but we'll add a piece of the designer paper across here. And I'm going to add another one of these line images. And we're going to add it, let's see, just under here. So hopefully, add it right there. And then we'll just add this image, or I'm sorry, this designer paper right on top. So let me grab my glue. So I decided to just do a very basic card design, just, so that I could highlight the technique. Okay, my glue is not working. So let me clean this off. It never fails. My glue is glued shut every time I get on a live. And I could have sworn I cleaned it, but okay, there we go. So we'll add this piece. This is just a 1 by 4 1/4 inch piece of designer paper. So I just thought we would bring out, the pretty peacock and the fresh freesia color by adding some designer paper. And then I just have a little, I had a little extra piece of one of the pattern papers. So I just used one of the dies from the set to create this little kind of notebook-like piece. So this is about a 3-inch long piece, and I used the die to create that. And then I just stamped a little greeting on a little scrap piece of paper and just kind of cut it down a little bit. So it's a pretty simple design, but it turned out really nice. I like this card. All right, so now we'll just pop this up right here. And then you can add any kind of gems. And of course, I can't find mine. Here they are. So I'm just using those tinsel gems. It's a 3-pack, so there's 3 different colors. And I'm just using the green ones on this sheet just to kind of pull out that green color. And that's pretty much it. And then I just added a little bit of designer paper on the inside just to kind of decorate the inside. So pretty simple card and just a fun way to use smaller images with this stamp keying technique. Okay, so now the next one that I want to do, let's grab this, is this design. So it's the same concept. I'm using the same leaf. I just have to clean my image here. But this time I'm going to use a different image to add, to do the stamp kissing. Let me clean all these. I'm using my stamp cleaner. My stamp cleaner doesn't look very clean, but it's just stained. It's very clean. Okay. So for this one, we're going to use that same leaf image and we're going to ink it up the same way I did for the first one. Excuse me. I knew the sneeze was coming on. And we'll ink this up. And then we're going to use a different color this time. This time I'm going to use Night of Navy. So notice how I inked it up with a lighter color. So this is the image I want to stamp on my project. So you ink that image up with a lighter color, and then I'm going to use Night of Navy. And I'm going to I'm going to use this image. So it has like kind of worn words, I guess you could say. And then we'll just do the stamp kissing to this image with this. So when I was doing this, I was hoping that the words would kind of show up better on this image, but they kind of just look like little dots. So actually, when I first saw this, I was like, oh, it kind of looks like a diseased leaf, but it still turned out cool. So, all right, so that's how you add, the design. That's how you add the design to your image. So you can use any image. I guess that's the point of my video today, is that you can really use any two images together with this stamp kissing technique. All you need is an image like this one that is more solid. So, if I stamped this leaf, it would be just a solid leaf image with no design. So the solid images work very good with this technique. And then you can just use any other detailed stamp to add, um, the design to your solid image. So I hope that makes sense. All right, so let's finish this card up. So for this card, I added a piece of fresh freesia cardstock. So this is just a 1 by 5.5 inch piece. And that's just going to go right about here. And then I have a 1 by 4 inch piece of designer paper. So as you can see, I was using up scraps. So I'm just going to add this over here on the side, just to bring in a little bit more color to the card. I think I put that on crooked. There we go. And then I have a 2.5 by 2 3/4 inch piece of Berry Burst cardstock. And this piece is going to go behind my focal point. So I'm just going to add this right behind here. And then we'll just pop this up on the card. And I didn't use vellum this time. Makes me sad. But I didn't use vellum because I wanted to bring out some of the color from this paper. All right, so we'll add this. And I just use the deckled rectangles to create this rectangular piece, but you can just cut a rectangular piece using your paper trimmer too. So, and since I didn't stamp this leaf very well, I think that's a great spot for this greeting, maybe right about there. So let me grab some smaller dimensionals. And we'll add that here. And we'll just add this right up in here. So that's the basic design. And then I added some little blue gems, but I only have one left, so we'll have to add different gems. I'll have to come up with something different. But that gives you an idea of how to use that stamp kissing with other images. And then on the inside, I just added some designer paper just to coordinate with what I used on the outside. Oh yeah, paper tearing. That would be a good place to do paper tearing. Okay, so let's see. Let's put this here. So these are the two cards that I did with the stamp kissing technique. So this is two different inks. And then, like I said earlier, these are the cards. Oops. I'll show you some other card ideas here. These are the cards where I just used one ink. So I just inked up that tile image, and then I used a large kind of splotch image from the artistically inked stamp set. And I just inked up that tile image and then stamped the large splotchy image onto the tile. And then that's how I kind of created this background. So I recommend watching the video that I did on Wednesday so that you can see that technique in action. But there's some paper tearing for you, Lori. And then here's another design that I just did. I did a little bit of the inking or stamp kissing in the background and just kind of created a different background design. And then I used one of the large die cut shapes from the Gorgeously Made bundle just as my focal point, and then just used up some scrap pieces of paper here on the bottom. So that's just another idea. And then this one I did just all in one color. So this is Berry Burst, but you can see the design in the background much better. You know, it kind of really pops with just that one little focal point. So there's another idea for you. And then I was just playing around with scraps and I made this card. So this one has no stamp kissing whatsoever. And then these are the cards that I created on Wednesday. So these are the ones that I featured in the video. So you can see the background. You can use stamp kissing for the background. You can use stamp kissing for your focal point. Here's another background one. So I did a little bit of heat embossing. So you can use ink or you can use heat embossing. You can use your Versamark to create, to use that stamp kissing technique. And then these are the other two that I featured in the video on Wednesday. So I just wanted to give you guys some more fun ways to use this technique in your card making. So you can use it as a background. You can use it to create your focal point. There's just so many different ways that you can use this technique, and it's really a fun technique. So it'll work with any image. You just have to find a detailed image and then a more solid image. If you have two detailed images that you're trying to stamp kiss together, you're just going to get a big blob, a big mess of detail. So you want to have a more solid image and a detailed image to do this technique. So, all right, you guys. So those are the cards that I had to share with you today. So I hope you enjoyed this look at the stamp kissing technique. This is one of the techniques that I learned when I first started stamping. So I just thought it was the coolest technique. And one of the first stamp images I bought was a large solid stamp so that I could do the stamp kissing technique. So it was really fun. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your day. Have a great 4th of July because I won't see you guys until after the 4th of July. So have a very safe holiday weekend and I will see you guys again next week. So take care, everybody.